Hi, my good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest, each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we
have to do it twice.
Guess how long line zetu za stima ziko? 320,000 kilometers. Hiyo ni kama go around the earth 8 times. Wacha nikuelezee how far we go to bring you electricity.
Hapa ni substation. Substation, hata engineers wakikuja, they don't just walk in. They have to be in touch with the controllers. They ask them to give them permits ya wafanyakazi kwa any place.
Boss, hii sasa ndio final. Inaitwa transmission line. These lines transmit power from big stations like Olkaria at 200 up to 500,000 volts. Kazi yangu is to let 500,000 volts of electricity flow around me while I work so that Kenyans can get power. Hii kazi inahitaji bravery, strength, confidence, courage, hizo vitu zote. Kila saa nikiambia watu kazi mimi nafanya, wananiuliza why, na mimi nawauliza why no. Somebody has to do it. For them, for you. Shine on Kenya, pamoja tu.
It's nearly a month since doctors in Nairobi put their tools down, protesting non-payment or the lack of honouring of the CBA that they had signed with the Nairobi County government. So which way healthcare in Nairobi County? We have details lined up for you and the hard stance taken by doctors. Tonight also, the UDA party, which President William Ruto leads, has given him the okay to negotiate with the ODM party. This is after the ODM party yesterday acceded to negotiating with the UDA party with the idea of forming a pre-election coalition. We have details lined up for you. But then again, you remember that early last week, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua kicked off a storm in the country regarding the grade 10 placement. And talking about schools in the Mount Kenya region, we'll have a member of parliament from the Northeastern region, and that is Honorable Yusuf Farah Mohammed, who is a member of parliament for Wajir West. Let's talk about a conversation and probably if it was justified or not. But first things first, the highlights. To expel or not, ODM leader Oburu Oginga says ODM will not be expelling party rebels despite widening cracks. Why bulldozers came calling? Kenya Railways justifies demolition of Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi business premises in Nairobi. A holy weed, Nakada wants to be enjoined in a Rastafarian case seeking the legalization of bang. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Susan Thuku. My name is John Jacob Curia. You're very much welcome to this broadcast. To start us off, and critical medical services are on the verge, or the verge of collapse following a prolonged doctor strike. And now entering its fourth week due to an ongoing impasse between the medics and the Nairobi County government. Speaking at the Mbagathi Hospital on Wednesday, the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union accused the county government of failing to address their grievances. The doctors want an immediate payment of their delayed salaries, among other demands, before they resume work.
Patients seeking medical services in public health facilities continued to bear the brunt of a prolonged doctor strike. For 28 days now, public hospitals in Nairobi have remained largely without doctors as the standoff between medics and the county government deepens. The Nairobi county government is accused of fueling the crisis.
So in Nairobi, you are a parent, you have a family depending on you, you don't have a salary. 14th of January, you don't have a salary, your kids have gone back to school, your landlord is waiting on you. The list is endless. How do you expect us to survive in this Nairobi?
The doctors have singled out Mbagathi Hospital as one of the worst hit facilities, with patients advised to seek services elsewhere.
There's a 16-year-old who came to deliver here at Mbagathi. She was termed, she was in labor. Unfortunately, this lady got what we call a third-degree tears. That lady was just bleeding. So they tried to refer, nothing. This lady was bleeding because that was 2 weeks ago. Do you know what the county leaders were doing? They were busy gallivanting in this country.
Wananchi wa Nairobi, mjue hakuna madaktari hospitali. Na ukienda hospitali mwenye anakutibu ni wale wenye mnaitanga madaktari, lakini si madaktari.
The strike, which began on December 19th, follows months of unresolved grievances, including unpaid salaries, stalled promotions, and lack of comprehensive medical insurance for health workers. The doctors say the situation has left them financially strained. They further accuse the county of failing to implement a return-to-work agreement signed after a 39-day strike earlier last year, noting that out of 12 agreed issues, only confirmation letters were issued.
Governor, any salary, mshahara, we have asked you over and over again. Imagine two things which are basic needs for us: insurance, comprehensive insurance cover, and salaries. As we speak now, even the clinical officers are on strike. The other cadres are actually joining tomorrow, telling you that how health is not working in Nairobi.
The union also claims that doctors previously employed under the now-defunct Nairobi Metropolitan Services are yet to receive gratuity payments, while others were removed from the payroll due to what they term shoddy biometric processes.
They called us for a meeting. On the 7th or 8th, went for this meeting, then suddenly they realized government is launching something at Uhuru Park, title deeds or bursaries. And then a whole health department decided their priority was to go and witness the governor issue this. It's bad.
Joseph Ohungu for Prime Edition.
In an almost related story, clinical services have almost been brought to a halt in public health facilities across the country, with clinicians vowing to stay away until the government heeds to their demands. For more than 22 days now, the clinical officers and the Ministry of Health have been unable to find a workable solution to the crisis that has left many Kenyans desperate for care. The clinicians, through their union, say the government has refused to engage them in talks to end the strike.
For 22 days, clinical officers have turned their backs on Kenyans seeking their services in public health facilities. The strike has paralyzed at least 75% of health services in Kenya.
We came here on Wednesday. On Thursday, I got a distress call because one of the people there had lost their sister. Their sister went to a public facility and did not find anybody there. And by the time they were getting to the other hospital, it was too late. There are several cases across the country.
Ngozi vile unaniona hivi siwezi kukaa kwa jua. You can ask dermatologist wale wamesomea skin condition. Nateseka sana. Mafuta sina mtu wa kununulia. Nikienda daktari aniandikie, hakuna daktari huko.
The Kenya Union of Clinical Officers on Wednesday marched from Afya House to the Council of Governors' offices, accusing the government of indifference.
Even though the Treasury, the SRC, and any other constitutional body that is supposed to approve has already approved. So there is no any plausible reason as to why the CS continues to contravene the rights of clinical officers.
At the crux of the matter is the payment of 19 months' salary arrears to the Global Fund staff, implementation of their collective bargaining agreement, implementation of the 2024 return to work formula, and absorption of UHC staff to permanent and pensionable terms.
The CS even made it very clear that he doesn't want to sign a CBA for few people. He doesn't want to sign a CBA for few people that he has negotiated for since 8 years ago. Did he know that he was negotiating a CBA for 150 people?
Tunafanya kazi katika maabara na zote za TB. Tunasaidia patients wa TB. Sisi kama watu wenye tunafanya kazi hapo, mnatuchukulia vipi? Mnatufanya vipi? Mnatuumiza.
He promised to confirm UHC healthcare workers, and he promised to formulate a task force to implement the process. We are not able to trust the process because if Global Fund have not been paid for more than 19 months, how can we be sure as UHC healthcare workers that we will be employed and confirmed so that we can continue serving Kenyans?
The union chairperson, Peterson Washira, has directed clinical officers to remain on strike, urging Kenyans to seek services in private facilities.
As the industrial action hits its 22nd day, its impact is directly felt by the local Mwananchi, with the union maintaining that a dialogue between them and the government is the way to go. Reporting for Prime Edition, my name is Kasichana Masha.
Thank you very much, Christiana, for that report. Probably before we head into politics, some news that just came in this evening, and that is a review of the maximum retail petroleum prices in Kenya, and that is a review for the period of the 15th of January 2026 to 14th of February 2026. And the news is that the maximum allowed petroleum pump prices for super petrol, diesel and kerosene. And super petrol will go down by 2 shillings per litre. That's a decrease. Diesel has gone down by 1 shilling per litre, and kerosene 1 shilling per litre. So there's a decrease there, but the biggest one is on super petrol, 2 shillings per litre, or diesel and kerosene each have a decrease of about 1 shilling per litre. Now, the Orange Democratic Movement Party leader, Senator Oburu Oginga, says the ODM party will not expel rebels, but will remain firm in the broad-based government and negotiate from a point of unity and not division. The ODM party leader and his colleagues engaged the electorate in Kibra at the historic Kamukunji grounds, where they challenged ODM rebels to exit the party if they are uncomfortable with working with the ruling UDA party.
Barely 3 days after the ODM Central Management Committee met in a bid to address emerging internal division, a meeting that was avoided by the perceived rebels, the brigade on Wednesday gathered at Kamukunji grounds in Kibra constituency to engage the public on the decision to remain in the broad-based government.
Mtu wetu saizi ni Daktari Oburu Odinga. Let nobody negotiate anything for ODM kama hajapitia party leader wetu.
Kiongozi wetu kwa sasa ambaye atatuendeleza mbele awe ni Dr. Oburu Oginga. Nataka kuona kwa mkono wale watu wote ambao wanamuunga mkono Dr. Oburu Oginga kama party leader wa chama mkono.
Safari ya ODM hasa hapa Nairobi ni safari ya broad-based. Usidanganywe na mtu. Nairobi kuna farasi 2 peke yao. Watu wa broad-based, watu wa kwenda nyumbani.
A section of ODM bigwigs led by Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and Deputy Party Leader Godfrey Otsotsi have been critical of ODM relationship with the ruling UDA party and even challenged the Oburu-led team to seek the endorsement of National Delegates Conference before negotiating for 2027 alliance. But in Kibra, the ODM team affirmed the National Delegates Conference will sit in Nairobi to ratify the negotiations with UDA.
Watu wanasema yeye ni mzee kidogo. Hapana. Mzee Oburu ameshinda baba miaka 2 peke yake. na tumeamua kama wana ODM tutasimama tuhakikishe kwamba tumetengeneza serikali.
Unajua haina haja kushindana na mdomo na kura iko. Tupambane katika National Delegates Conference. NDC ifanywe hapa Nairobi, sio?
The ODM party leader, while extending an olive branch to rebelling members, said the party will not expel those opposed to his leadership, underscoring the need to negotiate from a united position as a party.
Lazima tuendelee pamoja na hatuna nia ya kufukuza mtu yoyote kwa chama. Mtu akitaka kutoka kwa chama aondoke mwenyewe, anaondoke peke yake.
The Orange Party is now set to visit other regions of the country to engage the public on its agenda for 2027. Gishuki Washira, Prime Edition.
In the meantime, President William Ruto chaired a NEC meeting, that is a National Executive Committee meeting of the United Democratic Alliance, and among the other resolutions and observations by the party is related to that story. The NEC noted the decision of the ODM Party Central Management Committee to initiate structured negotiations with the UDA party in the Kenya Kwanza coalition to strengthen the ongoing political partnership and negotiate a coalition agreement ahead of the 2027 general election. Now, the statement from UDA says that the NEC mandated the UDA party leader, that is President William Ruto, to establish mechanisms for structured engagements with the ODM party to achieve the desired outcome. As a statement from the UDA, the NEC of the party, National Executive Committee of the party, mandated the UDA party leader, that is President William Ruto, to establish mechanisms for structured engagement with the ODM party to achieve the desired outcome. So you have two willing partners now willing to negotiate to further their relationship. To move this forward, Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki says Kenya will elevate to first world status within generations, drawing parallels with South Korea, Malaysia and Singapore. The DP said that it is poised for similar success. While at the 14th Development Partners Forum in Karen, Nairobi, the DP reaffirmed the government's commitment to the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which prioritizes people, partnerships and technology as the pillars of development. He also cited national security integrity and the rule of law as key fundamental elements for sustainable transformation.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki says the government is prioritizing agriculture with significant investments in water harvesting, irrigation and storage aimed at enhancing productivity and creating jobs.
That there is no need to panic. This climate-induced situation is something that will affect the country in the short term. But the government has made arrangements to make sure that we provide enough food for all the people of Kenya and also to save their livestock.
According to the DP, the plans in place will drive the country to a greater vision, with the infrastructure and energy remaining critical drivers of economic growth, with ongoing modernization of roads, rail, ports and airports. Kindiki says the establishment of a sovereign wealth fund aims to safeguard the economy and invest in long-term infrastructure, ensuring future generations benefit from Kenya's mineral and oil wealth.
The world is realizing public sector resources are not enough for the kind of needs that our nations have. And therefore, we will leverage on private sector partnerships with the public sector to get adequate resources to achieve our objectives.
While in Nairobi during the 14th Development Partners Forum, Kindiki said that the government has increased investment in education, research and innovation, with research funding now at 2% of GDP to power Kenya's future economy.
Our first breather right here on Prime Edition beckons, but don't forget that we have a guest tonight, and our conversation tonight focuses on Northeastern part of the country, and the question will be development or diversion, and that's a conversation kicked off by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Taking a short breather, we come back with more news and that conversation.
Imagine 24/7 monitoring system voltage and frequency to ensure it's no more, no less. Welcome to National Control Center. This is where we control the country's power generation. These screens enable us to see the entire network, the generation, and the demand. They also enable us to achieve the balance. Everything has to be at the right frequency and the right voltage within the right margins. Otherwise, we'll have poor customer power supply quality or even power system collapse. From Olkaria Geothermal, Seven Forks Hydros, and other generation sites, you have to generate power, transmit it, deliver it to the substation, all the way to the transformer, and finally to you. My name is Engineer Teacher Pamoja Twanga.
Kusahona nafanya googling natembea in front of my husband hapo.
Kwani wewe Kasuku?
Wewe
Mimi ile heshima hata niko na kuheshimu madam, naona hakuna haja
hata mimi hapana kuheshimu wewe. Mwingine
huu kwanza ndo jini mkatakamba mheshimiwa.
Mimi unaona
Nilileta majini saa ngapi?
Hiyo mimi ilikuwa napenda yeye. Unajua penda nataka kutuanga. Lakini
hiyo mapenzi yako ni tofauti.
Namna gani hata wewe iko paya googling yeye, alafu wewe napundisa yeye nafanya jigli yangu ha?
Why did you bring temptation kwa nyumba za wenyewe?
Yes.
Hakuna temptation imeletwa.
You can't be so impulsive. You're still young and your mom is... Please listen to your mom, okay?
Fine. Go. All right, just go.
You know what kind of person I am. If you don't tell, I'll find out myself.
Mama Joseph, I really am okay. Really, I'm fine.
Welcome back. The Principal Secretary for the State Department for Immigration and Citizen Services, Bello Kipsang, has revealed that an intensive mobile registration exercise using live capture machines would commence in Turkana, Baringo, and West Pokot, with IDs expected to be processed within 3 to 7 days after data submission. Speaking during a sensitization forum for chiefs and assistant chiefs, the Bandari Maritime Academy in Mombasa, Dr. Kipsang said similar exercises would be rolled out across wards and schools to ensure students and residents are registered concurrently during county visits.
I want to mention that we are going to have an intensive exercise on registration, starting with Turkana, Baringo, and West Pokot from next week or the week after, where we are going to use live capture machines. You go to that registration, they'll take your fingerprints, they'll take all the information, they'll scan in all the other documents. At the end of your exercise, which may take you around between 5 to 7 minutes, when the pattern of submit is done, it comes directly to the headquarters. We print your ID. We do some little checking to confirm the information and to confirm the data. And in 3 or 4 days, you have your ID. On this mobile registration, every time we shall be in a county, like I said, we are going to be in Turkana in the next 1 week. While we are going to every ward, and we shall allocate a machine or 2 in every ward, we shall allocate maybe another 2, 3, or 4 equipments. Within that time, we are doing intensive registration to visit schools so that we do it concurrently. While we are doing it for a year, we are doing it for our students. So when we come to Mombasa for intensive registration, we shall be dealing with every ward while we also deal with every school.
And now 4 family members who perished in a road accident in Naivasha have been laid to rest at Ndundu village in Gatundu South amid calls for more vigilance on the road. James Njoroge, who was a catechist at the Ridgeway's Catholic parish, his wife Teresia Wanjiru and their 2 sons were among the 9 victims of a road crash at Karai area in Naivasha on January 4th early this year.
Ndundu village in Gatundu South, Kiambu County. One after the other, the caskets bearing the remains of catechist James Njoroge, his wife Teresa Wanjiru, and their 2 sons, Mike Kabari, aged 5 years, and John Mark Kabui, aged 1 year, were brought to the venue. The mourners yet to come to terms with the loss resulting from a road accident on the 4th of January 2026 at Karai area in Naivasha. The eldest daughter, Claire Wairimo, aged 12 years, was lucky to survive the accident, albeit with minor injuries.
Though my parents and brothers, you are no longer here with me, you will always live in my heart. I will remember your love, care, and the time we shared together. I miss you so very much.
You left us too soon, but your love, your voice, and your presence will remain with us forever. It is sorrowful to imagine family gatherings, masses, and special occasions without you. Yet, we will hold dear memories of our last celebration on that date.
The burial took place even as the clergy called on road users to be extra vigilant to prevent further loss of lives.
All drivers, let us make sure that we observe care on our roads. The vehicles that we drive carry human life.
When you read the story of how they met their death, it's because of the carelessness of one person who drove all the way from, I don't know, Western and came to finish them here in Naivasha. It is painful.
Similar sentiments were echoed by leaders present.
Kama bunge, sheria tumeitia, idara tumezitengeneza, lakini wale wenye idara inaonekana wanalegea kazini.
Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
The Kenya Railways has defended the demolition of businesses associated with Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi, saying a vacate notice had been issued beforehand. In a statement, the Kenya Railways said the section of the section of the area located along the Douglas Wakihori Road will be rehabilitated and converted into train station ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON in 2027. Bulldozers descended on the property last night, flattening the area and destroying everything on their path. Kiambu, or rather the governor, who visited the property later in the day, defended his stay on the property, saying he is the legal occupant, having secured the land off a long-term lease. And the National Campaign Against Drugs and Alcohol Abuse, NACADA, wants to join a case in which the Rastafarian Society of Kenya is urging the High Court to legalize bang for religious use. The society has argued in its case that cannabis is central to its spiritual practices. The case has been scheduled for hearing on January 30th and February 4th of 2026, and the judgment is expected in March. That is March 19th.
I'll do so.
The Rastafarian Society of Kenya appeared before the High Court on January 14, 2026, raising concerns about the increased police stop and search encounters targeting its members. Before Justice Bahati Momoye, the Society's lawyer said heightened publicity of the case has made Rastafari adherents easily identifiable, leading to search based on appearance rather than reasonable suspicion.
My Lord, there has been concerns from my client that on the number of occasions we have come before this honorable court, their images have been out in the public, and as a result they have been an easy target by police officers.
The society is challenging the criminalization of cannabis under the law, arguing that bhang is a sacrament central to its religious practice. The concerns were raised as the court considers an application by the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, NACADA, which is seeking to be enjoined in the petition as an interested party.
We would like to seek the indulgence of the court to allow us to file responses with regards to this matter as the lead agency to give our input so that the court can make some decision in relation.
Justice Mamoye allowed NACADA to join the case, citing its mandates on drug abuse prevention.
So what we are proposing is we take out today's hearing and tomorrow's hearing to allow NACADA to catch up.
The court set fresh timelines, directing NACADA to file its response by January 20th, 2026, with the petitioners allowed to reply by January 27th, 2026.
And the members of the Rastafarian community who have always appeared before court, as you can see, have always been supportive, have never lost faith, will be able to realize and practice their faith without fear of repression or retaliation from the state. We've had them arrested on several occasions. We've always assisted them.
The case will be heard on January 30th and February 4th, with a judgment scheduled for March 19th, 2026. Letua Debra for Prime Edition.
The Honourable Farah Yusuf Mohammed is the Member of Parliament for Wajir West and joins us for this conversation. And that conversation was kick-started by the former Deputy President and was talking about grade 10 placement and talking about national schools in the Mount Kenya region and why probably children from that area should be given priority. And it kick-started quite a storm. But then again, some who support his sentiments, others don't. And interestingly, Mheshimiwa, is that one of the people who've supported the stance by Gachagua is Senior Counsel Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi. But first of all, let's get your reaction, really, to the sentiments by Rigathi Gachagua. First of all, the members of Northeastern do not even go to their constituencies. They don't sleep there. They live in Nairobi.
Thank you, John, for giving me this opportunity. I want to first start by saying Nairobi is the capital city of Kenya. And we all know members of parliament operate in Nairobi because of the parliament. And if you talk about northern Kenya is not a just like Kiambu. It is almost, from where I come from, it's almost 800 kilometers from here.
That's true.
You don't expect me every morning to wake up from Wajir West and come and report or do my work in Nairobi. Most of the offices that national government offices, unfortunately, are in Nairobi. All ministers, PS, everybody who has powers to assist the people of my constituents are in Nairobi. You have to do lobbying for some projects, for employment, for everything that the government is to offer the people of Northern Kenya. So Gachagua himself, he operates from Nairobi and he comes from Nyeri. The irony of telling someone else that you come from somewhere and you don't reside there. He has a house in Karen. Is Karen in Nyeri? In Nyeri is around how many kilometers away from this place? Why don't he wake up every morning and work in Nairobi? When he was the deputy president, how many times did he visit Nyeri? Those are the questions Kenyans need to understand.
All right.
So therefore, somebody telling us, yes, we go there every time. When there is recess, when during weekend, we go and visit people. We do what we can with a lot of challenges. But you don't expect me to be in Wajir every time. But if we do a decentralization of the Parliament of Kenya, and we can have a parliament in Wajir, then probably people can question us why
you
we
will not
here.
come to Nairobi.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about, because at the heart of this conversation is resource allocation and the feeling of what those resources have done. And there are billions of shillings, really, that have been sent to the Northeastern, the former Northeastern province counties. why do we still see the region struggling with, for example, issues of infrastructure, issues of water availability, and including now, also classrooms, and including now, we have almost a humanitarian crisis evolving there because of the continued drought. Can the billions then be accounted for owing to the situation we're seeing on the ground?
Very good question. First, let me start by saying,
yes,
when did this billion start going to Northern Kenya?
2013.
That is the first question we need to answer. Before 2013, how many billions of shillings went to? We understand how pre-colonial period was, how the country was categorized, how favors were done along the railway line or corridor. And all development have been done across those areas. All the national schools now we are talking about are built along those areas, most of them, and in Nairobi. When you talk about billions of going to Northern Kenya, it started 2013. And it is not the way people are putting it. Yes, there are a lot of challenges. I'm not saying the leaders are saints in some cases. But the question is, in Northern Kenya before 2013, how was the situation? You can imagine in Wajir County, for example, the constituency I come from, we had only less than 7 secondary schools. Less. I can even say, count it, it is 5 secondary schools. Today, we have 19 schools, courtesy of CDF. And all those schools, even the 5 we are talking about in that constituency, the 19 were built by CDF. If we talk about us, the last 3 years, we have done over 6 secondary schools in my constituency, from fresh, not renovation, not adding additional infrastructure, schools that were not existing from the ground. We have done primary schools around 10 for the last 3
That did not exist?
That did not exist.
Okay.
I have done a Huduma center from CDF that is now being operationalized by Huduma department or the Ministry of Public Service. The Huduma Center that was built in Wajir County, which is the only existing Huduma Center in Wajir, was built by the county government through the devolved fund. We had no single tarmac road in Wajir town before devolution. We have over 50 kilometers of roads in Wajir today, courtesy of devolution. We did not have ECDs, non-existence before. And the few that were existing were paid by the locals. But today, we have 700 teachers of ECDs. We have 326 ECDs. All members of parliament today, you know how the crisis of, if you can remember, teachers were before now. Have you heard of late?
After the delocalization policy?
No. Why? How did that come up? It came up through the efforts of members of parliament. And it's through CDF that have sponsored students to go to education, to do education, and teach the local people. Today we have surplus. So many of them who are unemployed. So when we talk about the money going there, initially before devolution, in Wajir County, we had only 70 boreholes. Today we have over 400 boreholes, courtesy of devolution. Yes, there are challenges.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean we don't have schools, we don't have roads, we don't have roads. And roads is not a devolved function. Education is not a devolved function. It is only CDF. You can remember the other time the members, the governors, were supposed to pay, they were paying bursaries. But some people went to court to challenge the legality of that function. How is that their function, or it was a national government function?
Let's move this forward, because the allegation by Gachagua, and because it's good you said in some of the opening statements you made that we are not saying that all of you are saints. Are there credence, or would you say then there's some level of truth in the allegation by Gachagua that there are funds meant for Northeastern that have actually been diverted to other things other than the development and the welfare of the people?
No, I can't say that, and I don't agree with it.
Okay.
Gachagua claimed a lot of things out of ignorance and maybe trying to look for ways to go through or come politically, go having a direct entrance to the politics of Northern Kenya. Because Gachagua is the same person, if I may go back, who talked about shares in this country for the first time in history. The person who said Northern Kenya have no shares in this government. The person who claimed the Northern Kenya, when the president went to remove the vetting process in the Northern Kenya, that people were vetted during the IDs, is the first person who came up and said the president is registering Al-Shabaab, is giving identity to Al-Shabaab. This is the same person. He wanted to demystify and look for a way to go through the people of Northern Kenya. And he came up with concocted allegations. My brother, Gachagua said members of parliament and politicians from Northern Kenya have high rises in Isli. Tell me, single member of parliament
and
sitting...
South C and B.
Yes, single member of parliament sitting now and before, who has a single high-rise building in Isli, South B, Kilimani, wherever.
What if they own them through proxies?
Proof. Show us.
Okay.
How? Why? We have anti-corruption. We have everybody. Why have they, the agencies concerned, why have they not done their work? If there is somebody who looted government resources, for example, who looted CDF, or probably the county funds, he's supposed to face the law. You can't just come and one morning and come up and just shout people are corrupt. You are tarnishing somebody's name. He himself, his money was frozen by the former government. All his accounts were frozen. He was told, he was even taken to court. Has he accumulated that money through corruption? So he should tell us if he has evidence. Let him bring it forward.
All right. We have about 4 minutes before we finish up. But this debate also emanated from the Grid 10 placement. And I want to hear from your perspective, and particularly from the constituency you come from, that is Wajir West. Do you feel like Northeastern got a fair share of the placements in Grid 10 in terms of how your students were distributed? Do you feel there was fairness in terms of that allocation of the placements in Grid 10?
Northeastern is part of Kenya.
Okay.
They have the challenges like any other Kenyan have. We don't believe still we have been fairly accepted or placed in terms of the placement of students. But still, the chances and the slots of the national schools are very, very small in number. But, you know, whatever government, the process the government now are doing, I believe it is above board. They have done their best. And anybody who was admitted to national school, regardless of where he comes from, whether he's from Wajir, whether he's from Turkana, whether he's from Mombasa, he is there on merit because of his qualification. I don't believe anybody has gone, has done something, something fishy to be admitted, to admit his child to national school.
All right.
So I'm comfortable, and the people of Northern Kenya are not complaining. And the national schools, as we speak today, are in most of them Nairobi and its surroundings.
Okay.
Because of what we have already explained. And it was not funded by any devolution money or CDF. It was funded by government and even pre-colonial period.
Right.
Most of them.
Okay. As we wind up, and this is a larger perspective question, it doesn't just measure on Northeastern, that there's a feeling in many times that citizens do not feel the impact of the allocations that go to counties and the Constituency Development Fund, and there's the perception that leaders are custodians of cash instead of being catalysts for change. Very quickly, in less than a minute, What is your response to that perception that citizens really are not feeling the impact of some of these allocations?
First, nobody said the people don't have the impact of these funds. I disagree with that line. Why? Because I've already explained to you. In Wajir West alone, before the CDF, with CDF, we have 19 schools. If CDF was not there, they couldn't have got that 19 schools. They have Huduma Center. We are doing TVET, Technical Training Institute, through CDF money plus shares from government, national government. We have bought the first two buses in Wajir West. We have done 6 secondary schools, as I've told you, for the last 3 years. We have done 10 primary schools as we speak. So when you say, and by the way, we do 0 bursary for secondary schools, most of them, including me. I have started not only day school, as my brother, one of my colleagues, has started. And when sometimes the media and the people of Kenya needs to understand the reality.
Very quickly.
And the truth. The fact remains, let me ask you, Ndindi said 12,000 students. He paid school fees for 12,000 day-going students. The question is, where did he get that money from? If you add the math, 12,000 times 13,500, because he said parents will only pay 500 shillings. That comes to 162 million Kenyan shillings. His allocation of CDF is 180 or 200 thereabout. If you deduct that, where is he getting the developmental fund? The other question.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. The other issue is we have done tremendous job in terms of the constituency. For example, in Wajir West, as we speak now, we have already paid the secondary fees. And you can attest that. If you have one person or anyone from Wajir West, you can call him now to attest whether that is true. And we have paid for whether it is day school, whether it is extra county, whether it is county, whether it is national school, any child of Wajir West, wherever he is, we have paid for his school fees.
All right. Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa, for your insight. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much. That is Mheshimiwa Farah Yusuf Mohammed from Wajir West, and really talking to us about the conversation that really that has been in the country regarding the use of public resources, and particularly the allocations that go towards counties and constituencies. That's how we put a cap on this interview. We're taking a short breather. When you come back, business is up next.
Guess how long line zetu za stima ziko?
Bright moments. Moments that inspire, enlighten,
niliwacha sitima, sasa inawacha, nikaona kuna kipara inasai.
And give hope, joy, and clarity. We move forward together, shining and with purpose. For years, we have been your trusted partners that have kept the path illuminated into a bright shared future. Empowering education, information, and entertainment, bringing light to homes, schools, shops, and hospitals in urban centers and villages. Our aim is to do everything possible to keep dreams alive through dedication and power. Kenya Power.
Pamoja twang'aa.
Wiki hii kwenye mkulima
tunavuna French beans.
Kisha tunaangazia upanzi ama kilimo cha mboga za asili.
Kilimo sio mbaya. Kilimo iko na ina manufaa sababu ina pesa. Ukilima na ulime vile chakula inatakiwa kupandwa, weke mbolea, weke kila kitu. Kama wewe ni mwanzilishi, utaona faida na utaona utatoka bure.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi hii saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1
kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo.
For us now to do business, and exporters will continue shipping products to the United States duty-free after the United States extended the African Growth and Opportunity Act, that is AGOA, for a further 3 years. Investments, Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Lee Kinyanjui says Kenya is still negotiating to add more products into the tax-free quota.
The U.S. House of Representatives has approved the renewal of the African Growth and Opportunity Act AGOA by 3 years. Kenya has been holding talks with the United States to extend the AGOA deal that expired on 30th September 2025. Investments, Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Lee Kinyanjui said the textile and apparel industries operating within the export processing zones will benefit more as it employs over 80,000 people directly and 250,000 people indirectly. Kenya is still discussing a bilateral trade agreement that will cover other key sectors and further cement Kenya's long-standing partnership with the U.S.
It is a platform that connects Africa and the U.S. in a very fundamental way. And it can go a long way in solving some of the trade deficits and challenges that exist at the moment, especially in the context of where the world is going.
Kenya exports textiles and apparel, coffee, tea and horticulture to the U.S., with Kinyanjui saying talks are underway to increase its product shipments. In a statement, the CS said, quote, "As a ministry, we aim to grow export of additional products under the AGOA framework beyond textiles, ensuring that Kenya fully leverages this opportunity to create jobs and generate wealth." End of quote. AGOA provides qualifying sub-Saharan African countries with duty-free entry to the U.S. market for over 1,800 products, in addition to more than 5,000 goods included under the generalized system of preferences. AGOA extension is expected to stabilize jobs and encourage further investment in export-oriented industries. Benson Rioba, reporting for Prime Edition.
Cotton farmers in the cotton value chain are set to benefit from a cotton revitalization program initiated by the government in conjunction with the private sector. The expanded program, which involves plans to supply BT cotton, I hope I got that right, BT cotton seeds to farmers, has started in Lamu County, and the Principal Secretary for Agriculture, Dr. Paul Rono, assured farmers that the government is fully committed to ensuring they access high-quality seeds to increase productivity and improve incomes.
The Kenya Investments Authority indicates that cotton production had reached 37 metric tons in 2022 and domestic consumption at 10,000 metric tons. To date, government support has included the distribution of BT cotton seeds and improving agricultural services to boost yields from 700 kilograms to 1,200 kilograms per hectare, ensuring sufficient supply for a cotton ginning factory. This program is now being enhanced.
BT cotton tutapiana mbegu ya kutosha.
The government has roped in the private sector to revive the cotton industry. For example, Lamu County is one such collaboration. The private sector purchased cotton worth 3.5 million shillings from Lamu farmers last season. The introduction of BT cotton seeds will help farmers combat pests, reduce production costs, and significantly improve yields.
Na sisi ya Thika Club News tunachukua almost 2 million. So pesa yote is almost 315 million. Pesa ingia hapo pekatoni.
Stakeholders say growing collaboration between the government and the private sector is critical in reviving an industry that had nearly collapsed. The rollout of BT cotton seeds is expected to mark a new chapter for cotton farming in counties like Lamu, positioning them as a key driver in the revival of Kenya's cotton and textile industry. Alan Oko, Prime Edition.
The NCBA Group and automotive distributor in chips That is a two-chapter inked deal aimed at making farm mechanization more accessible and affordable to farmers across the country. NCBA Group Director for Asset Finance and Business Solutions, Lennox Mugambi, says the partnership introduces a tailored asset financing solution, offering farmers financing of up to 98% of the tractor cost, support for farm implements, and access to working capital to boost operational efficiency. Here is Ndutamo Kami with our report.
Agriculture contributes about 21% of the gross domestic product, yet continues to rely heavily on manual labor, limiting productivity and scale. Under the arrangement, farmers can access financing of up to 95% of the cost of a tractor, alongside financing for up to 2 farm implements, such as plows, boom sprayers, or balers.
We have now a model that is designed for our terrain, and also parts and genuine parts that are designed to give the truck a long run, so that you don't have to stop mid crop or mid harrowing. So New Holland is the best product we can offer from an agri-business and agriculture point of view.
Business customers will also be eligible for up to 500,000 shillings in working capital to support farm operations after purchase. Unlike conventional agricultural loans, the financing model has been structured to reflect the seasonal nature of farming. Repayment periods can run for up to 60 months, with flexible repayment plans aligned to harvest cycles.
Consumer education in terms of educating farmers to know how to manage their finances, that then they will be eligible for financing, is one thing that we need to work on.
All tractors financed under the program will be insured through NCBA Bank Assurance Intermediary Limited, providing protection for both farmers and the bank throughout the asset's lifespan.
We believe that taking a bold step at the beginning of the year will help us now catalyze that ownership of agricultural equipment and increase it to the level we've seen with commercial vehicles. And hopefully by end of year we'll be talking about 70,000 for tractor farmers, because then that will help us as a country enhance food security.
Ndutamo Kami for Prime Edition.
In sports, the 2026 World Cross Country champion Agnes Ngetich says her best is yet to come this year after claiming a gold medal for the first time in the earlier women's race during the global event. Ngetich was among the athletes who jetted back home last night from Tallahassee, Florida, USA, where Kenya topped the medal table with a total 9 medals. 9 medals.
The first batch arrived last night, led by world 10-kilometer run record holder and newly crowned World Cross Country gold medalist Agnes Ngetich, while the remaining 2 groups touched down early today. Ngetich claims her first individual gold medal in the senior women's race, with the team title being won by Uganda this time round.
Nimefungua mwaka vizuri and I'm so happy. At long last, I've been trying to make podiums in all championships, but nakwanga number 4, which is so painful, but I didn't give up. I fight, and finally.
While Franklin Kibet struck a goal in the under-20 men's 8-kilometer race, where he led a 1-2-3-4 sweep to secure the team title as well, which underlined Kenyans' continued dominance on the global stage.
Nasikia vizuri kushinda medali. Nilikuwa nimejipanga. Unajua World Cross tunaendaga kama teamwork.
Emmanuel Kiprono won a silver medal, while Andrew Alamisi settled for bronze. David Simiu Ebenyo secured a bronze in the senior men's race won by Uganda's Jacob Kiplimo for the 3rd time, as the Kenyan team settled for silver, which was replicated in the senior women's race and under-20 women races. All in all, Kenya retained the overall title for the 3rd consecutive edition after topping the medal table with 9 medals.
Here competition becomes tougher and tougher, and we can only say they've worked extremely hard.
All together, we also showed them that we are real Kenyans and we are the champions.
Frederick Muki for Prime Edition.
In the meantime, an observer mission group from Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda is in Morocco to gain hands-on experience ahead of the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, which will be co-hosted by the three countries. The delegation is working with the Confederation of African Football, CAF, and the current AFCON hosts Morocco, and have managed to visit key venues while observing live match day operations, including stadium management, spectator services, security coordination, competition operations and media activities. CAF General Secretary Veron Mosengu Umba said the program reflects CAF's commitment to long-term excellence in tournament delivery by exposing future hosts to flagship events. Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania previously co-hosted a successful 2024 African Nations Championship and are now preparing to deliver a world-class AFCON in 2027. And speaking of AFCON, there's a match ongoing right now in the semis, and that is Senegal and Egypt. Senegal and Egypt. The match is 1-0 so far, and this game is in the 94th minute. Whether Egypt will come back, of course, that remains to be seen in the next few minutes or seconds before this match concludes. Senegal 1, Egypt 0. Now, the FKF Men's Premier League leaders Gor Mahia came from 2 goals down to defeat Morangasil 3-2 in today's matches, as defending champions Kenya Police were held to a 1-1 draw by Mara Sugar in a tightly contested encounter at the Police Sacco, Nairobi.
Joe Waithira and Francis Bemusi gave Morangasil a 2-0 lead in the first half before Felix Mboya, Paul Ochuoga and Ebenezer Sifwa scored to complete the comeback for Kogalo.
Pasi inapigwa pembeni kwake Paul Ochuoga, yupo onside. Tunaletwa ndani huku, nafasi kwake Ebenezer! The comeback is complete!
Elsewhere, defending champions Kenya Police FC were forced to share the spoils with Mara Sugar at the Police Sacco Stadium.
Ametoka Burkina Faso kwenda kuchonga Jimmy Owili, naye pia amepachika magoli mawili msimu huu. Jimmy, nafasi! Yes! Inajaa kambani!
Meanwhile, FC Leopards coach Fred Ambani is the Betika/SJAC coach of the month for December 2025 after guiding his team to the top of the SportPesa League after 14 rounds in the 2025-26 season with 3 wins and a draw. They also stole the Mashemeji bragging rights against their arch rivals Gor Mahia, whom they beat 1-0.
Pili nikisema asanteni sana kwa kuja na bunifu kama huu. Unajua at least ni kitu poa sana na motivate kwa coaches kufanya kazi. Nasema SJAC na Betika tumefanya ni kitu moja ya maana sana, na tunawasihi sana waendelee kufanya hizo.
Ambani beat the likes of NCPB handball coach Brian Matthew, 3x3 basketball coach Zadok Adika, DCI volleyball coach Patrick Sang, Catholic Monks rugby head coach Simon Jawichire, and Africa youth coach Victor Ngani to the award. Sean Muya for Prime Edition.
And Senegal have actually qualified to the finals and have sent home Egyptians back to Cairo. Senegal wins the match 1-0, and that means then again we wait for the results tomorrow between Nigeria and Morocco. And actually the match is today at 11. That is Nigeria and Morocco, and we get to know then who gets to carry this or who battles Senegal in the final. Time for us now to put a cap on Prime Edition. Thank you very much for joining us. Susan Duku was our sign language interpreter. My name is John Jacob Curia. There's also another match, the FA Cup, that is the Carabao Cup semi-finals that pits Chelsea and Arsenal. Off to see you. Good night.
2025 imekamilika. 2026 tunaingia na matarajio mema ya kumiliki shamba, nyumba, magari na zawadi zingine nyingi kupitia usaidizi na kucheza kwako. Familia yote ya Tushinde tunawatakia kila laheri, na mwaka huu uwe mwaka wako wa baraka, bahati, afya njema na mafanikio. Happy New Year.
Did you find out about this? Well, see, he told me that after they divorced, he said he wants to marry me.
But what's all the hurry, son? You barely know the young woman, and now you are marrying her.
I know Lucia well enough to be sure that she is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with, Mom.
Oh.
It's all your fault that this happened. You're the one responsible for what happened to my daughter.
Hello, my love. Have you missed me?
Who is this?
I'm sorry, but am I calling the mobile phone of Mrs. Rebecca Murillo?
And who the heck are